Okay, good morning all, and we should start today. This is a course belongs to your second semester. The first paper is your ecology and biodiversity. We'll start from paper 201, ecology and biodiversity. Is it visible to all and audible? Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay, today we'll discuss about the linkage between environmental science and ecology and other streams. So first discussion is about the disciplines under this environmental science, or as a major discipline in environmental science. So what is under these studies we should have to face? Okay. So first of all, the subcategories of disciplines under this environmental science comes under these atmospheric sciences, ecology, environmental chemistry, geosciences, and environmental assessment. That means environmental pollution monitoring and assessment. So about atmospheric science includes the study of dynamics and chemistry of the layers of the gas around the Earth, other planets and moons. Examine the new phenomenology of the Earth gaseous outer layer with emphasis on interrelation to the system, and it is an umbrella terminology for study of Earth's atmosphere and its different stratas and processes and effects others, how it will affects the other systems have on the atmosphere. If you see the atmosphere, it has different layers or stratas, that is troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere, and beyond that we can say or designate it as exosphere. In atmospheric sciences, we include the studies of meteorology. This is the study of weather and climate. Then climatology, then study of atmosphere and air pollution and all. Then your second branch is your ecology. In ecology, we will study the ecosystem, focuses on the relationship between the living organisms and the environment. And the term was coined by the biologist Ernest Haeckel in 1866. And the different components in the ecosystem are the biotic and abiotic components. Biotic components includes the living organisms, that means plants, animals, and microbes and all. And abiotic components, maybe it is the soil or water, air, and other components. Then, what are the level of study of ecology? It will start from the very beginning, that organismal ecology means from the level of the organism. Then your population ecology, then community ecology, landscape ecology, and your global ecology. If you say about the organismal ecology, it is the study of individual organisms and its behavior in response to environmental challenges and environmental changes. Then population ecology is the study of factors that affect the change in the size and genetic composition of the population of an organism. And community means this is a union of populations, that is the study how community structure and organization are changed by interaction among the living organism. What is ecosystem ecology? This is called also system ecology, and this is the study of entire ecosystem. Ecosystem means the factors of a biotic and abiotic all includes this ecosystem. Then landscape ecology is the study of exchange of energy, material, organisms and other products between the ecosystems. That is called your landscape ecology. Then your global ecology. Global ecology is the study of the effects of a regional change in energy and matter exchange on the function and distribution of organism across the biosphere. Then what is biosphere? Biosphere is the all living components of the earth and all plants, animals, and the microbes and other surroundings, known as biosphere. Biosphere or ecosphere is between the intersection of atmosphere, hydrosphere, and lithosphere, and all the biological entity includes the biosphere. And if you say ecosphere is just a union product of atmosphere, hydrosphere, and this is a category of subcategory of a biosphere. You can say the ecosphere. So then environmental chemistry comes another branch of or discipline of study under environmental sciences. The study of chemical processes occurring in the environment which are imparted by humankind activity, and the interdisciplinary science that includes atmospheric, aquatic, and soil chemistry includes the environmental chemistry. Then environmental chemists, that is the study of behavior of pollutants and their environmental effects on air, water, and soil environments, as well as their effect on human health, environment means other biotic entities. And geosciences, if you see the geosciences, this is the study of geology and geochemistry in the natural world and physical and human geography and challenges faced by the communities and cities and their solutions. And this geoscience provides the knowledge, experience, and ingenuity to the to meet the society's demand for natural resources, environmental quality, and resilience to the hazards. Sciences include all these sections. It is for habitat study and delta eclipse, then water quality, water use, groundwater, drought, agriculture, floods. These are the phenomena or the disasters and phenomena, and that is called resilience to hazard. And hydroelectric power and river flow, all these things are under geosciences. So geosciences also includes the following parts, that is called environmental geography, and this is basically the physical geography portion. The physical geography which deals with the study of processes and patterns of the natural sciences, that is geomorphology, hydrology, glaciology, biogeography, oceanography. And this is the branch of geography that analyzes the spatial aspects of interaction between the humans and the natural world. Then next comes your environmental assessment, and this is the assessment of environmental consequences, whether it is positive or negative, of a plan, policy, program, or actual projects prior to decision to move forward with a proposed action. That means to establish a project or developmental project, you need some plan, policy, and program to avoid the environmental degradation or to minimize the environmental degradation process. That is called your environmental assessment. The purpose of environmental assessment is to ensure that decision makers consider the environmental impacts when deciding whether or not they proceed with this project. So these are your part of this study disciplines under this environmental sciences. Discuss about ecosystem and ecology. Here, when you discuss about ecology and ecosystem in details, then we'll go through the first discussion about your ecology. That is, it is all living organisms, whether the plants, animals, or human beings, is surrounded by the environment on which it derives its needs for its survival. That is called ecology. That is means it's an interaction study between the organism and its environment in a very simple statement. And each living component interact with non-living components for their basic requirements systems. If you define this ecology, then ecology is the study of interaction among the organism and its group of organisms with their environment. And the environment consists of a biotic components, that is the living organism, and abiotic components that are includes the air, water, soil, etc. And then the ecosystem. What is ecosystem? Ecosystem is a basic functional unit of ecology. The term ecosystem is coined from a Greek word, means the study of home. Ecosystem means is the study of home. By defining this ecosystem, a group of organisms interacting among themselves and with the environment is known as an ecosystem. Thus, an ecosystem is a community of different species interacting with one another and with their non-living components of the environment and one another and with other non-living environment exchanging energy and matter. If you discuss about one organism, let's say human being, and its interaction with other organisms, means living entities like plants. Human beings are collecting their food from plants, animals, and they also take the groundwater, and to inhale or to sustain they need oxygen from the atmosphere. That means it has the interaction between all these factors for energy and matter exchange. Again, you have to consider the other living organisms, how they interact with the non-living or abiotic processes to harness their own energy. Like your plant, they are autotrophs and they collect the energy. They collect the energy from sun and by using the chlorophyll pigments. So that is also a exchange of energy and matter. So that ecosystem is also called a open thermodynamic system. So all these studies include your study of ecosystem or ecology.
सर
Yes.
सर ଯଦି ଆମକୁ ପଚରା ହବ କି ଇକୋଲୋଜି ଆଉ ଇକୋସିଷ୍ଟମ ଭିତରେ ଡିଫରେନ୍ସ କଣ, ତାହେଲେ ଆମେ ସେଇଠି କହିପାରିବା ଯେ ଇକୋସିଷ୍ଟମ ହେଲେ ଇଣ୍ଟରାକ୍ସନ ହଉଛି ଅର୍ଗାନିଜମ୍ସ ଭିତରେ ୱିଥ ଏନଭାୟରନମେଣ୍ଟ, କିନ୍ତୁ ଇକୋଲୋଜି ହେଲାକୁ ଅର୍ଗାନିଜମ ନିଜ ଭିତରେ ଇଣ୍ଟରାକ୍ସନ ହୁଏ।
ତାହେଲେ ଡିଫରେନ୍ସ ଶୁଣ, ଡିଫରେନ୍ସ କିଛି ନାହିଁ। ଡିଫରେନ୍ସ ହେଲା ଏଇଆ, ଇକୋଲୋଜି ହେଲା ଷ୍ଟଡି ଅଫ ଅର୍ଗାନିଜମ and its interaction with other organisms and non-living abiotic factors of the environment. ବୁଝିହେଲା? ସେଟା ହେଲା ଷ୍ଟଡି। ଇକୋସିଷ୍ଟମ କହିଲା ମାନେ ଇକୋଲୋଜିର ଗୋଟେ ୟୁନିଟ୍, ଫଙ୍କସନାଲ ୟୁନିଟ୍ ଟାକୁ କହିବା ଆମେ ଇକୋସିଷ୍ଟମ। ମାନେ ଇକୋଲୋଜି ଭିତରେ ଗୋଟେ ୟୁନିଟ୍ ହେଲା ଇକୋସିଷ୍ଟମ। ଯଦି ଇକୋଲୋଜି ଗୋଟେ ହାଉସ ହୁଏ ତାହେଲେ ଇକୋସିଷ୍ଟମ ଇଜ ଏ ବ୍ରିକ୍। ଏବେ ବୁଝିହେଲା ନା ଏନି ଡାଉଟ୍? माने बिल्डिंग यूनिट कहला माने इकोसिस्टम को बुझाला। बुझेला ना बुझेलानी?
आज्ञा सर।
हाँ, तो if we want to distinguish, you can distinguish in this way. Ecology is the study of organism and its interaction with the environment. Environment word टा कहला माने कोन हला? सेठी बायोटिक अबायोटिक सब आसिला। गोटे ऑर्गेनिज्म आ गोटे ऑर्गेनिज्म सहित भी इंटरैक्ट करे, तार फूड पाई हो किछि भी हो। गोटे प्रेडेटर अछि तो से तार कोन ना प्रे को खाइबा पाई कि से चेंज करिवो एवं प्रे को खाइबो। सो दैट इज इट्स माने इंटरैक्शन विथ अदर ऑर्गेनिज्म। लेट्स से प्रेडेटर रो हर्बिवोर से तो इंटरैक्शन अछि। पुनी हर्बिवोर बंचिबो केमती ना प्लांट से तो इंटरैक्शन अछि। सो जदी गोटे इकोसिस्टम रे प्लांट रो population कमिबो ताले it will hamper the health of the herbivore, indirectly hampering the predators. बुझिहेला कि नहीं? सो सेमान भितर इंटरडिपेंडेंसी अछि। से सबुर स्टडी की इकोलॉजी कहंती। आमे जे खाली इकोसिस्टम कहबा, इकोसिस्टम होची गोटे यूनिट, गोटे फंक्शनल यूनिट। ecology study ର ଗୋଟେ functional unit ହେଲା ecosystem. Next, what are the types of ecosystem? It is natural ecosystem. Is there any artificial ecosystem? Have you ever seen artificial ecosystem?
aquarium
Very
artificial
good. Yes, very good. That is called a artificial ecosystem. Means you can artificially grow a rooftop garden, a aquarium. Aquarium may be a aquatic ecosystem, artificial aquatic ecosystem example. A rooftop garden may be a terrestrial ecosystem, or you can say a pilot terrestrial ecosystem, artificial ecosystem example. So in both the cases, they need the all the requirements of the abiotic factors or the environmental factors, but you are supplying artificially inside a confined area, not in the natural environment. For that reason, you can say it is an artificial ecosystem. Okay. So for natural ecosystems, there is a terrestrial ecosystem or aquatic ecosystem. So if you say the terrestrial ecosystem, example is a grassland, a tropical forest, a deciduous forest, a desert ecosystem, these are the terrestrial ecosystem that the ecosystem developed over the land. Then your aquatic ecosystem. Aquatic ecosystem means this ecosystem related to water. Means this is a ocean or water ecosystem. It is further sub-classified into two basic types of ecosystem, that is depends on the salt content, means fresh water ecosystem or ocean ecosystem. Okay, and again that freshwater ecosystem may be of two types. One is called lentic water ecosystem or lotic ecosystem, means a flowing water ecosystem or a stagnant water ecosystem. Okay, so these are some examples like rivers, streams, lakes, are pond. These are some ecosystems, and where the rivers and streams are called your lentic or running water systems, and for lotic you can say the standing water ecosystems are example of a pond and lakes. Marine ecosystems are sea, ocean, sea source are called marine ecosystem because of the salt content in the water. If you see the structure and components of an ecosystem, then you can find this abiotic and biotic components, and you know that the biotic components includes all the organisms. Basically it will start from the producer levels, means your herbivores. Herbivores may be in aquatic ecosystem. These are the phytoplanktons or algae or cyanobacteria. In terrestrial ecosystem, they are plants starting from the grassland to the higher plants. Okay, well grown higher flowering plants. So again, the herbivores, carnivores, predators, top predators, and along with that, there is a detritus ecosystem. Detritus ecosystem means the microorganisms in the soil who are responsible for all recycling of the matter or nutrient in the soil. They are also part of the biotic component of ecosystem. Then we'll see the abiotic components, and from producer, consumer, decomposer. Then your producer are the autotrophs. Here it is the photosynthesis, the process of the autotrophic synthesis of your glucose, or you can say your chemical energy, that you know that these are the biotic components, and how photosynthetic process will harness your glucose or your fructose or sugar, that you know very well. I don't think it has some problem. And have you know that what are the pigments responsible for this harnessing photosynthetic energy? If you will survey across all type of producers or autotrophs, then you can find different type of chlorophyll pigments, phycobilisomes or bilisomes, and other pigments are there, accessory pigments are there, that pigments are very much responsible for the synthesis of chemical synthesis of your carbon dioxide and water into glucose or sugars for autotrophic organisms. So that pigments are very important. For bacteria, the pigment is of different types or molecular structure and molecular function is different. And also in terrestrial higher organisms of plants, like your trees, they are also of different types depending on their molecular composition and the process of harnessing or process of fixing this carbon dioxide into glucose or your sugar. So, do you know what are the types of these organisms, terrestrial plants? C3 plants, C4 plants are your and your CAM plants. These are different type of photosynthetic organisms in terrestrial ecosystem. So C3, C4, and CAM, if you see that, then they have a different type of enzymes and also different type of physiological response to the environmental stresses or conditions. You can see the Rubisco have the activity in the C3 plants where the PEP oxidase will help in the C4 plants and also casein acid metabolism also help in some desertic situations or water starving or drought stressed situations. So all these types of photosynthetic organisms include this your producer in ecosystem, and you know that the consumers, then it will come at the consumers, then consumer are a differently classified, like your primary consumer, secondary consumer, predators, or tertiary consumers or top predators, you can say that. So primary consumer means it is clean the plant eaters, means your herbivores. They can feed upon the autotrophs. Give an example of largest herbivore in the ocean or aquatic ecosystem or saltwater ecosystem. Anyone have answer? But a border large sized herbivore na kuha in the world in the aquatic ecosystem, largest herbivore. Actually, ଯଦି herbivore compare କରାଯାଏ terrestrial aquatic ସବୁ ଭିତରେ ଗୋଟେ largest herbivore ଅଛି, କିଏ ସେ?
Blue whale, sir.
କିଏ କହିଲା? ओके, ब्लू व्हेल कौन खाली प्लांट खाए माने आल्जी खाए?
सर एलिफेंट हबो?
ब्लू व्हेल इज द करेक्ट आंसर, कहना से फाइटोप्लैंक्टन ही खाए हैला टेरेस्ट्रियल इकोसिस्टम रे एलिफेंट हे पारे. बट for now, if you'll go for the prehistoric stage, then you will have that dinosaurs are very largest herbivores existing now. Okay, so in existence in terrestrial ecosystem, the elephants are the largest. In your aquatic ecosystem, the blue whale is the largest. If you say in whole, the primary consumer or herbivore, the blue whale is the largest herbivore in the world exists today. Okay. Then your secondary consumers means primary carnivores. Okay. So it may have different examples like your frog, cat, snakes, foxes, like that. Tertiary consumers means they are secondary carnivores, and they may include the top predators like your lion, tiger, etc. Decomposers are the microorganisms like bacteria, fungi, who can decompose all the organic bodies, plants or animals or dead bodies, and they can recycle the nutrients and the energy to the atmosphere. Then it comes your abiotic factors, and if your abiotic or non-living factors or components, they include the climate, soil, water, air, energy, nutrient, etc. If you see the physical components includes the energy, climate, raw materials, and living space that the biological community needs. And they are useful for growth and maintenance of its member, like your air, water, soil, or sunlight. If you see the chemical components or abiotic chemical components, then you can find some nutrients are the most important chemical components. And out of these chemical components, some organisms like your carnivores, they need some organic substances or chemical components like proteins, lipids, carbohydrates. You are taking amino acids, most of the amino acids you are taking as food, and some amino acids are synthesized in your body. For synthesis of your amino acids, you need some elements like your phosphorus, nitrogen, potash, carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, all these things, and they can biosynthesize inside your body. And because protein is very important for, they are the building blocks of your cell. And like that, proteins, lipids, and carbohydrates are also required in your body, and carbohydrates are directly digested in your respiratory systems, and they give us energy. And apart from these proteins and carbohydrates, you also need nucleic acid, and nucleic acid synthesis also occurs from this food. Okay, so function of an ecosystem. These are the structure and part or component of the ecosystem. Then we'll switch over to function of an ecosystem. To understand clearly the natural ecosystems, its functioning should be thoroughly understood. Like, the functions of an ecosystem allow the flow of energy and cycling of nutrients. So the primary function is the all ecosystem are manufacturing of starch, means photosynthesis. And the secondary function is the distribution of energy in the form of food of all consumers. That you can say the energy flow in the trophic systems, or you can say the feeding up and habit between the organisms. That is called your food chain or food web. If you see the food chain and food web, then there is a feeding on habit chain. That means one organism will feed upon another, and in this process the energy is transmitted from herbivore to the top predators or top tertiary carnivores. Okay, in this process, you know that there is a 10% of the energy will be transmitted, and other 90% of the energy will be dissipated in terms of respiratory loss, or in terms of excretory loss, or unutilized form. On some are unutilized form. That is called your energy flow model or energy flow system in your ecosystem in the food chains. Then your tertiary function of this ecosystem are all living systems died at a particular stage, and these dead systems are decomposed initially by third function of the ecosystem, that is called cycling or nutrient cycling. So energy also cycled, nutrient also cycled, and this cycling includes the energy and material flow in food chains, food webs, and pyramids. So energy flow in the ecosystem, already we have discussed, that is called 10% rule of this energy flow. Out of this, some percentage are lost due to unutilized form, due to respiratory loss or community respiration, and some portion are lost due to excretory products or fecal residues. So if you see the energy flow, the sun is the perpetual source of energy, and this energy is harnessed through the producer, and some amount of energy is lost due to heat and respiration, and some amount is transferred to the consumers, and the consumer also lost some heat. And then it will come to your decomposers. Decomposers decompose these consumer products or organic products into inorganic nutrient pools, and also dissipate energy in the form of heat and light. If you see the thermodynamics terms of this energy flow in the ecosystem, then you can find that the flow of energy through an ecosystem obeys both the first law and second law of thermodynamics. What is first law of thermodynamics? First law of thermodynamics says that energy can either be created or destroyed, or it can be considered from one form to another. It means it can be transferred from one form to another. And this will occur in the ecosystem that we have a clear picture. That if you see the energy or some of the energy of the system or ecosystem, then the lost energy and the gained energy or transferred energy, if you summed it up, there is a constant value. And energy is not created, yes, not created or not destroyed, it is also, it just transferred or transformed into some form, like heat, like some fecal residue, like some other chemical energy, or transferred from one form to another form. Okay, or one organism to another organism. So this is called your first law of thermodynamics. So energy of an ecosystem comes from the sum, means the sum of energy will be constant. That will obey the first law of thermodynamics. Then second law of thermodynamics comes. Then second law of thermodynamics says that whether the energy is transformed, it is the loss of energy through the release of heat. Yes, if you see there is a release of heat means loss of energy. That means increase in the entropy. Increase in the entropy means disorderness. Means energy is transformed. That means there is a loss of energy, and in the form of release of heat, that is a disorderness. If you see this statement in another way in the ecosystem, that when you go from the producer level to the top predator level, the movement or disorderness or the movement between the organisms, if it come from the autotrophs or the producers to the carnivores or top carnivores, then it will increase. That means your disorderness or entropy will increase. That is also called second law of thermodynamics. And you can have this also, the energy is transformed and lost through the heat. And this occurs when the energy is transferred between the trophic levels, and there will be a loss of energy about 80 to 90%. For that reason, we can say that the 10% law of transmission in the form of heat, and it moves from a trophic level to another trophic level, and the loss of energy takes place through respiration, running, hunting, like that. Okay, and for definition of this trophic level, you know that one strata in a food chain or a food web in the ecosystem of a feeding organism is called a trophic level. There are different strata and they are interlinked in feeding on habits. So each strata you can say there is a trophic level. This nutrient flow, nutrient cycling, or you can say this is biogeochemical cycling in the ecosystem. So if you see the biogeochemical cycling, then the nutrient comes. Nutrients are maybe micronutrients or the macronutrients. The macronutrients are oxygen, nitrogen, carbon, calcium, magnesium, phosphorus. These are the macronutrients. If you see the micronutrients, then the elements need in small amount called micronutrients. In plants, you can see these micronutrients are the boron, cobalt, strontium, zinc, copper, are required by traces, and they are also vital. If you see the nutrient cycling or biogeochemical cycling, you have already studied, I think, in your first paper 101 of your first semester, that is your carbon cycle or oxygen cycle, nitrogen, phosphorus cycle, or sulfur cycle. That is a phosphorus and sulfur cycle called sedimentary cycle, because one part of the cycling occur in the soil must or sediment must. For that reason, they are called sedimentary cycles. The sulfur and phosphorus cycle, and other nitrogen, carbon, hydrogen, oxygen cycles are called your biogeochemical cycles. So here the cycle completes through different parts. That is the atmospheric conversion, then your water or hydrological conversion, then soil conversion, then it will cycle through atmosphere to hydrosphere through lithosphere. Okay. So in this conversion of the nutrient, for each nutrient, you will have a sink. Let's say oxygen. If you will take the example of oxygen, the sink is your atmosphere, means ultimate goal to return back to the atmosphere, because it is harnessed from the atmosphere. The sink is the atmosphere. If you will say it is nitrogen, also the sink is the nitrogen, the sink is the atmosphere. If you will say it is a sulfur, it is a phosphorus, the sink is the lithosphere. For that reason, it is called soil sediment cycle. Okay, so it is sedimentary cycle. So these are the processes of biogeochemical cycle in common. Then we will go for the each cycle in details or discuss this in the next class. That is your carbon cycle and others. Any questions after this? Any question?
सर ये जो एनर्जी फ्लो थर्मोडायनामिक्स आसिला सेठी कोन हमको मेंशन करबा पड़िबो जे 10% लोटा केमतिका माने रिड्यूस हे जाउची ट्रॉपिक लेवल गुटे पर गुटे को
हां जदि हम सेटा मेंशन करबनी सेटा सेकंड लॉ ओबे करछ बेल जणै परिबनी माने तुमको डिफाइन करियार अछि कि जस्टिफाई करियार अछि कि केमिति इकोसिस्टम टा सेकंड लॉ ऑफ थर्मोडायनामिक्स को ओबे कला सेकंड लॉ ऑफ थर्मोडायनामिक्स कहउछि खाली एनर्जी ट्रांसफॉर्म हबो एनर्जी लॉस हबो आउ डिसऑर्डरनेस एंट्रोपी बढ़िबो ए तीनटा जंग कथा होउछि इकोसिस्टम रे सेति पई इकोसिस्टम गोटे माने थर्मोडायनामिक सिस्टम ओपन थर्मोडायनामिक सिस्टम जे कि ओबे करछि फर्स्ट और सेकंड लॉ ऑफ थर्मोडायनामिक लिखिया पड़ियो से जस्टिफाई करिया पड़ियो यस
सर आ जो
हाँ
न्यूट्रिएंट साइकिल देला ସେଥିରେ ଆମେ जो बायोजियोकेमिकल साइकिल माने पर्टिकुलर गोटे एठी तो हाइड्रोलॉजिकल साइकिल माने फिगरटा आपण देखले
एट देखै जोटा
हां या आगटा जोटा हाइड्रोलॉजिकल साइकिल
हाँ
एटा
मु एटा हाइड्रोलॉजिकल साइकिल ही फिगर देखैली बट एठी जेहेतु सब जिंस देखा आइछि मु कहि देली सब बायोजियोकेमिकल साइकिल एमिति ही हुए आउ सेटा प्रूफ भी कर देबी डोंट वरी एटा देखलो तुम हाइड्रोलॉजिकल साइकिल तो सोनाल देखिलु तो एठी अछि कोन
आज्ञा
एठी कोन अछि हाइड्रोलॉजी साइकिल ले हमरो मेन सिंक हेला ओशन पुनी एटमॉस्फेयर रे भी जाउछ वाटर वेपर हिसाब रे प्लांट भी नउची वाटर पुनी रेन होची पुनी फेरी आछी एठी की सो एठी एटमॉस्फेयर लिथोस्फियर हाइड्रोस्फियर सब लिंक नांती नेक्स्ट को गली कार्बन साइकिल कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड रूप रे रहला एटमॉस्फेयर रे पुनी ताको माने प्लांट आ एनिमल्स ताको नेले कोन रेस्पिरेशन ने ए प्लांट गुडा नेले ताको रेस्पिरेशन ने सो रेस्पिरेशन को फोटोसिंथेसिस ने की कन्वर्ट कले न्यूट्रिएंट को ताको पुनी प्लांट खाइले हेडु प्लांट रेस्पिरेशन ने भी कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड छाडिले सो एठी भी इन्वॉल्व होचे एटमॉस्फेयर हाइड्रोस्फियर लिथोस्फियर यू विल सी हियर सेम थिंग नाइट एठी कोन हैला नाइट्रोजन साइकिल सेम कथा नाइट्रोजन साइकिल भी कोन एटमॉस्फेयर लिथोस्फियर हाइड्रोस्फियर सब एठी लिंक्ड अछि बुझि पारछो ना बुझि पारनो तो सेति पई कहिली जे एठी हमें कॉमनली जानिले जे सब बायोजियोकेमिकल साइक्लिंग गुडा को लिंक्ड टू दिस खाली एति की जानिबार अछि कहार सिंक कोडा माने मेन स्टोरेज और मेन सिंक कोडा एनी डाउट हाइड्रोस्फियर हाइड्रोलॉजिकल साइकिल ले वाटर सिंक हेला ओशन माने मेन स्टोरेज आउ नाइट्रोजन कार्बन हाइड्रोजन एगुडा सब रहला एटमॉस्फेयर तापरे सल्फर फास्फोरस रहला सॉइल बा सेडिमेंट तितपे तो सेडिमेंटरी साइकिल कहउचे आको हाइड्रोलॉजिकल साइकिल कहउचे ऑल आर बायोजियोकेमिकल साइक्लिंग बुझेला ना नै तमे वाटर साइकिल को भी कहि परिबो बायोजियोकेमिकल साइकिल बिकॉज़ वाटर भी इन द फॉर्म ऑफ बायोलॉजिकल एंटाइटी भीतर भी वाटर जाउची ना वाटर से फॉर्म में भी जाउची सो से केमिकल प्रोसेसेस से भी जाउची वाटर सॉइल ले भी वाटर टा बाउंड होची केमिकली भी आउ मनुष्य भी वाटर ड्रिंक करले से हाइड्रोलिसिस पाई की भी यूज करची वाटर को सो केमिकली बायोलॉजिकली एवं जियोलॉजिकली माने ओशन की सॉइल ले सब प्रकार रे यूज होची एवं ए साइकिल टा कंप्लीट होची से पे हम ताको बायो जियो केमिकल साइकिल कहउची ता माने पूरा साइक्लिंग रे गोटे फेज बायोलॉजिकल थिबो गोटे फेज जियोकेमिकल थिबो गोटे फेज केमिकल थिबो ए सेनागे हम त कहउची बायो जियो केमिकल साइकिल आउ कार किछ डाउट सोनाली आउ किछ डाउट
नहीं सर
तमे इकोलॉजी सब पढ़ी थिबो
यस सर
मु किंतु तुमको गोटे को सजेस्ट करिवि तमे बुक तो श्योर पढ़ काहे कि ना पावर पॉइंट इज नॉट द सब्स्टिट्यूट ऑफ बुक केबे भी नो एट एनी कॉस्ट बहिर सब्स्टिट्यूट केबे पीपीटी रे जने पढेले सब्स्टिट्यूट तो करि परिबो नाही सो इट्स माय सिंसियर रिक्वेस्ट टू ऑल you should follow a book if for ecology for this paper you must follow either your ecology by R.L. Smith, E.P. Odom, or your uh, Peter Stilling. Okay, these are the most popular and highly acceptable books. R.L. Smith and Peter Stilling are the best books of ecology. सो ए बुक गुडा फॉलो करि पारो आ फॉर जो माने की ऑफ स्ट्रीम रु आस माने जे बायोलॉजी केबे पढिनी मन को फिजिक्स केमिस्ट्री की मैथमेटिक्स की अलगा कोन पढिची से एमसी दास कर हम ओडिया रो ऑथर अछंती एमसी दास से संबलपुर यूनिवर्सिटी वाइस चांसलर थिले आ से से भी एनवायरमेंटल साइंस रे एचओडी थिले तो सी गोटे पेपर बही लेखचंती एमसी दास सो एमसी दास को बुक टा भी पढ़ले तम टिके इजीली अंडरस्टैंडिंग आसीबो बट जेहेतु एटा पीजी लेवल तम पढ़िबो बेटर कि फॉरेन ऑथर बुक टा फॉलो करिया उचित तो सेत पय कि सेठी बेसी डिटेल्स अछि तो सबथर बेस्ट बुक एंड पीटर स्टिलिंग यू कैन फॉलो दिस सेत पय आरएल स्मिथ रो बोध बहुत कॉपीज अछि 500 टा खंडे कॉपी अछि हमर लाइब्रेरी यू कैन इश्यू दैट एंड गो थ्रू दिस आ गोटे कथा कहि दउछि जे फॉर मिड टर्म एग्जामिनेशन तुमको सब पेपर गोटे गोटे यूनिट आग पढ़ा हबो सो मु फर्स्ट यूनिट स्टार्ट करछि हैला तो एटा बायोजियोकेमिकल साइकिल पर टिक इकोलॉजिकल सक्सेशन स्पीशीज डाइवर्सिटी इकोटोन एज स्पीशीज सब तो टिके टिके कहबी नीच हैला पहले एटा तुमर गोटे पेपर सरले पुनी नेक्स्ट पेपर को जंप करबा मु तापर डिजास्टर टा पढेबी डिजास्टर एंड हैजार्ड बोध हुए सेकंड पेपर 202 टा जियो साइंसेस अछि दैट विल बी टेकन केयर ऑफ बाय सरोज सर सेटा पढेबे एनर्जी बजेट करका एलिनो लानेना हैला तापर देखिबा जेमिति हेले चारटा यूनिट हमको सारिबा कथा किंतु आमे वर्तमान एई गोटिक यूनिट जेतिकी पारिबा सेतिकी सारिबा तापर तमे एग्जाम दबो एग्जाम दे सला पर देखिबा आउ किछटा क्लास कर सारिबा काहे ना एई मंथ रो एंड बेल को सर प्लान करछन कि तमर मिड टर्म करिया पे ओके ओके देन तमे एग्जाम पे फर्स्ट सेमेस्टर पाठ भी प्रिपेयर हो anyone else have any question no question okay then that's all for today okay okay that's all for today we'll remain here okay I will inform the next class okay
Okay, sir.
mm-hmm.